Here's something that happens in the East Valley more often than anyone in real estate likes to talk about. A family relocates from out of state, from Michigan, California, or Illinois, and they do their research, they look up the schools in the area they've been considering, and they see that Gilbert has one of the highest rated schools in Arizona. They pick a neighborhood based on what they believe is the school their kids will attend. They close on the home, they move, and then they find out the school on the listing description or the district map that they found online doesn't match with the address that they bought. This is not rare, and in 2026, it just got more urgent because Gilbert Public Schools approved the closure of Pioneer Elementary before the start of the 26 to 27 school year, and those attendance boundaries for those surrounding neighborhoods were redrawn. If you're buying a home in Gilbert right now or anywhere near the communities that fed into Pioneer Elementary, the school assignment for that address may not have been what it was just 6 months ago. Before I get into this, I'm Megan Williams, and my husband and I run Blue Collar Homes here in the East Valley. We made this exact move ourselves. We packed up everything in Detroit and relocated here to Arizona back in 2008. Since then, we've lived in Mesa, Chandler, Gilbert, and now Queen Creek, where we're raising our 3 kids, including boy-girl twins and our dog. We've bought, sold, and built new construction here and everything in between. So when I talk about navigating this market from out of state, I'm not guessing it. I've lived every single part of it. We've now helped over 700 families do the exact same thing, and we're gonna make sure your move is smoother than ours was. When we moved from Michigan, school districts were something we understood in broad strokes. We were in a district, your kids went to that school for your area, and that was it. Arizona is very different, and the way it's different is something that every relocating family needs to understand before they go under contract on a home. Let me explain how school assignments actually work in Arizona because the system here is much more nuanced than most people just assume. Arizona uses what they call attendance boundaries, just like most states. Every address in a public school district falls within a boundary zone that determines the default school assignment for that address. The boundary maps are real, they're published by every district, and they're address specific. A home on one side of the street can be zoned for a completely different elementary school than a home across the street. This happens. It's common and it matters because in Chandler and Gilbert, a 10 to 15% price premium exists on homes in the most coveted school zones compared to nearly identical homes, one neighborhood over in a completely different zone. Now, here's what makes this genuinely complicated for many out-of-state buyers. Arizona also has a robust open enrollment policy. This means any Arizona resident can apply to attend any public school in the state. You're not automatically locked into your attendance zone school. This sounds like it gives you flexibility. It does, but with 2 important limitations that make it less reliable than it sounds. 1. Open enrollment is not guaranteed. Processes open enrollment applications based on that available space. And in most in-demand schools, the ones with the highest ratings, the ones in the best regarded neighborhoods, are the schools where open enrollment slots will fill the fastest and where wait lists are the longest. If you're moving to the valley from out of state, you may not be positioned to act on an open enrollment in time for your kids to get a spot at that school that you want. Second, and this one trips people up all the time, Arizona does not provide transportation for open enrollment kids. If your kids are attending their boundary school, the district will provide busing according to its routes. If they're attending a school outside of their boundary through open enrollment, you will be responsible for getting them every day. For families moving from places where the school bus service was a given, this is a significant logical consideration. The one way to guarantee your kids attend a specific school in Arizona, guaranteed, no wait lists, with transportation if the district provides it, is to buy a home within that school's attendance boundary. There's no other guaranteed path. And this is why the boundary map for a specific address is not a nice to know piece of information. For families with children, it is one of the most consequential facts about a home purchase. And yet it is routinely treated as an afterthought and something that buyers check loosely, something listing descriptions will mention vaguely, and something that doesn't get verified with the level of rigor that it deserves. And now let me talk about what's happening specifically with my example of Pioneer Elementary, because this is not an abstract risk right now, it's current, and it's an active change that affects real addresses in Gilbert. Gilbert Public Schools approved a closure of Pioneer Elementary, with the closure taking effect before our 26-27 school year. Students who previously attended Pioneer are being redistributed to three other schools: Carroll Ray Ranch, Bella Vista Lakes, and Harris Elementaries, with attendance boundaries being redrawn to reflect these new assignments. What this means practically is that if you are looking at homes in Gilbert, particularly in the neighborhoods that previously fed into Pioneer Elementary, that school assignment for that address is different today than it was just a year ago. A listing description that said the home was in Pioneer Elementary is now outdated. The boundary maps that show up on third-party real estate sites may not have been updated to reflect these zones. And if you're searching for homes online from another state and relying on district reputation without verifying that specific school assignment for that specific address you're buying, you may be making a decision based on information that is no longer accurate. This is happening with multiple districts around the valley. I want to be specific about how to actually verify this correctly because there's a wrong way to do it that a lot of buyers use. The wrong way is to look at the information about the school on Zillow or Redfin. Those platforms pull from data sources that are not always current, and they're not always authoritative on boundary changes, especially these recent ones. I've seen listing pages on major platforms showing school assignments that were changed just months earlier. The platforms update on their own timeline, and that timeline does not match the school's district actual implementation schedule. The right way is to go directly to the district's website and use their boundary lookup tool with the exact property address you're considering. Gilbert Public Schools has an enrollment and boundary selection on its website where you can enter a specific address and get a current school assignment. Chandler Unified, which covers parts of Gilbert and Chandler and some surrounding areas, has that same exact tool on their site. If you're buying in a district boundary area that overlaps maybe Gilbert and Chandler, you need to know which district actually governs your address. And because boundaries can change, not in just a major closure like Pioneer, but in smaller redistricting adjustments that happen with less fanfare, you should verify that school assignment as part of your due diligence before you go under contract, not after. Your agent should be doing this lookup for you on any home you are seriously considering if a school assignment is a factor in your decision. Now I want to zoom out and talk about why this matters beyond just the school your kids attend on day one. The school premium in the East Valley is real, and it's persistent. In Gilbert and Chandler, homes that are zoned for the highest rated elementary schools also command a meaningful price premium over comparable homes in that lower rated zones. That premium holds over time, and it reflects sustained demand for families who want those assignments. And it means that if you buy a home in a top rated zone, you're buying into a market signal that has historically been very stable. The reverse is also true. If boundary changes result in your home's address shifting from a highly sought after assignment to a less sought after one, that affects your home's future value and marketability. It's not something that most buyers think about when they're looking and purchasing, but it is something worth understanding, especially in an area like Gilbert or some of the other cities here, where school boundary changes driven by enrollment shifts, school closures, new construction development patterns, and are happening much more frequent than they were just a few years ago. There are also two other school-related landmines that I see buyers walk into that are worth mentioning here. The first is the charter school assumption. Arizona has a very robust charter school system, and high-performing charter schools are in the East Valley, for example. Basis schools in particular, and several others are genuinely excellent and heavily sought after. But charter schools have their own separate enrollment process, their own wait list, and they're not tied to your home address at all. Buying a home near a great charter school does not get your kids automatically in. You have to apply, and if that charter school is popular, and the best ones are, you may be applying with hundreds of other families for a limited number of seats. The second assumption is that good district means good school. The East Valley major school districts like Gilbert, Chandler, Mesa are large, multi-school districts where the quality and resources vary drastically school by school and within the same district. Saying a home is in Gilbert Unified tells you something, but it doesn't tell which specific school your child is assigned to and how that school compares to others even within that same district. You have to go one level deeper. Here's what I want every relocating family watching this to do before they buy. Get the specific address of any home you're seriously considering. Go directly to the school district's website, not Zillow, not Redfin, not a third-party site. Use the district's official boundary tool to look up that school assignment for that address. Verify that that assignment is current, especially in neighborhoods that are near recently redrawn on boundaries. Ask your agent to confirm that school, and if a specific school is a significant factor in your decision, understand that the only guaranteed path to that school is buying within that attendance zone. We do this for every client we work with who has school-age kids. It's part of how we run our transactions, and we don't let any family go under contract on a home without that information in their hands. If you're getting ready to buy in Chandler, Gilbert, or Queen Creek, and you want us to pull that school boundary information for that address you're considering, give us a call or text. We'll verify it for you before you commit to anything. I'm Megan Williams in the East Valley, and I'll see you on the next one.